Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of the Bias Life Franchise Product Training Call. My name is Dr. Peter Verdegam. I'm the Chief Science Officer at Unicity International. This week's topic is another great product of Unicity. I take it every day because I know the health benefits it has, and it's called Probionic. I know many people in our customer base all around the world use Probionic every day because it helps them also tremendously. And Probionic is, you may recognize the word. Let me explain a little bit where the word comes from. Of course, it comes from a term called probiotics in science. And probiotics refers to the bacterial flora in our gut, the bacteria that live inside our intestinal tract. There is also a term called prebiotics, which some people confuse now and then with probiotics. And prebiotics is actually referring to the food that those probiotics eat. And usually this is fiber and sugars and some other things. And you have products on the market that refer to prebiotics. And basically this means, providing food for the healthy bacteria in our gut. But probiotics really actually contains the bacteria that we need tremendously to improve our health in our gut and thereby having a lot of different health benefits throughout our body. So let me first explain a little bit about bacteria, what they are, which kinds we want, which kinds we don't want. Well, most people, when they hear the term bacteria, they think, that's not something I want to have. Typically, you associate bacteria with bad stuff, with diseases, with things you're picking up in your surroundings that you don't want to have, diarrhea, things like that. But we must realize that although there are, of course, very many types of bacteria and other organisms living inside you that, can be very detrimental to your health, there are quite a bit of strange, that's the terminology of type of bacteria, that are very healthy for you, that really promote your health and that live together in some kind of symbiotic environment. And there's another term, symbiotic, means living together, two different species living together in harmony, living in your gut and helping you to boost your health and immune system. Now, where do they come from? Well, initially, of course, when you get born, your gut is completely clean and sterile. There's nothing in your intestinal tract. But as soon as you're born, your intestinal tract starts to populate with different strains of bacteria, and these come from different sources. These come from the mother. If you're breastfeeding, you get bacteria through that process inside your intestinal tract. But of course, also all the types of food and just stuff you pick up from your surroundings are slowly, well, actually not that slowly, pretty fast, going to populate your intestinal tract, because in the first few days you already have a huge amount of bacteria living in your intestinal tract that are hopefully the healthy bacteria, the good bacteria you want to have. There are many bacteria living in your gut. An adult person has about 10 to the power of 13 different cells in our body. That's how many cells we need to make up our total body. And 10 to the power of 13 means a 1 with 13 zeros. So it's a huge number of cells. But think about this. That's a huge number already. But there are 10 times as more bacteria living in your gut. So that's amazing. There's an enormous amount of different bacteria living there. And if you look at the different kinds, well, there are different estimates, but typically they say between somewhere 400 and 500 different species can live in your intestinal tract. So a huge variety of different types of bacteria. However, having said that, about 99% of all bacteria actually come from about 30 to 40 species. So there's 30 to 40 species of bacteria that are really taking up the big bulk of your gut flora. So what do they do? Well, they have an enormous amount of jobs really in your gut, and they live together. It's a mutual beneficial relationship. The bacteria like to live in our gut because, you can imagine if you're a bacteria, it's moist, it's warm, and every day there's food passing by. So it's a great place to live, basically, for bacteria. And because they're so happy, they help us in return with our health. What do they do for us? Well, let me just list some of the things they do. The first thing you think about is the immune system. The immune system is very important to our overall health. It prevents us from getting many, many diseases, and it prevents us from fighting intruders into our body. And the the gut flora, is very important in determining the overall strength and viability of our immune system. In fact, it's been estimated that about 80% of the quality and strength of your immune system is actually determined by the health of your intestinal tract, and that means by the health of the gut flora living inside your intestinal tract. They do all kinds of things. For the immune system, they, for example, produce antibodies. And antibodies is a very important part of the immune system that are little proteins that recognize invaders, that would recognize parasites and things like that and bind to it so that our immune system can take care of it and destroy them. That initial manufacturing of antibodies is done to a large extent by the bacteria in our gut. So it's a very important first-line defense to many different invaders. The bacteria are also responsible for what we call barrier effect. The barrier effect is simply by being so populous, by having many healthy bacteria in our gut, it basically limits the possibility of bad bacteria to grow in there. There is a balance. If there is a lot of space in our gut and only a few bacteria, there's a lot of space for other bad bacteria to grow in as well. Well, the barrier effect means that there are many healthy bacteria, and simply they keep the growth of bad bacteria that would cause disease and diarrhea and things like that under control. It does so by different ways. It does so by simply being there, but it also is very smart in some sense because the healthy bacteria provide signals to our body to provide certain types of nutrients into the gut. Those are the ones that the healthy bacteria need, and our body does not provide nutrients for unhealthy bacteria. And so they starve, basically. That's another very smart way how healthy bacteria regulate the growth of bad bacteria in our intestinal tract. So, and there are many more complicated mechanisms how bacteria stimulate the immune system, but that's really the most important part that I would say that bacteria do. They also help us to prevent allergies. Studies have shown that kids that have certain allergies have different composition of bacterial flora in their gut. And, you may think, well, how do we regulate that? Well, you can't really, but it tells us that, as a kid has grown and it's been picking up certain bacteria as opposed to others, that may be a reason why certain kids develop allergies for certain components. So, and having enough of the healthy bacteria may actually be very beneficial to prevent allergies. What does it do more? Well, it regulates the development of our gut. When you're young, bacteria live there, give signals, produce signaling molecules to our gut, and regulate the extent and speed of the growth of our intestinal tract. Very important function. They also produce vitamins for us. Did you know that? I mean, certain vitamins, biotin, vitamin K, for example, are produced by bacteria in our gut. So we feed the bacteria in return produce vitamins, and we absorb those vitamins that we desperately need. They're essential nutrients to us. Bacteria help us with digestion. Certain sugars that we cannot digest very well are being left in the gut, and our bacteria take care of those sugars. They ferment them. That's the terminology. They ferment the sugars that we cannot digest, and by doing so, they produce fatty acids. The sugars are converted into fatty acids, and those fatty acids are called short-chain fatty acids, a specific type of fatty acids that are very beneficial because they in itself lower cholesterol. Interestingly, I mean, they go into the bloodstream, they somehow block the liver synthesis of cholesterol, so we know that those bacteria help with that as well. And there are even more advanced things of these short-chain fatty acids. They lower the pH in the gut, and that means that certain cancer-causing agents are more easily expelled from the gut. So they have some great benefits in there as well. They also have a relationship with the prevention of IBD, inflammatory bowel disease. Bacteria keep inflammation under control inside the gut. So IBD and IBS, which are two serious chronic bowel diseases that have a relationship with inflammation, are being kept under control if you have adequate amount of the healthy bacteria. So it's clear we need them. We can't survive without them. We need healthy bacteria, and sometimes we need to give them a little boost, and that's where Probionic is helping us. Because sometimes in some periods of our lives, the amount of healthy bacteria in our gut is not adequate. It is there can be an overgrowth of unhealthy bacteria, and then you just need to basically fill up that store with the healthy bacteria that you can find in probiotics. Another reason why we are sometimes suffering from low amounts of healthy bacteria in our gut is because we use so many antibiotics today. Antibiotics are really overprescribed. A lot of physicians know that, but it's a very commonly prescribed and very easy to prescribe pharmaceutical product that it is really overdescribed. And because we don't use specific antibiotics targeted towards a specific strain, but usually broad-spectrum antibiotics, meaning that also healthy bacteria may be wiped out by certain antibiotics. That's a really issue today. as opposed to maybe 50 years ago when we didn't use so much antibiotics. And when you have, a continued disease in digestion, you have a long period of diarrhea, that's typically the time when you could really need a boost of healthy bacteria in your gut. Now, how do you get them? Well, Probionic is a unique blend of different healthy bacteria. There are 5 different healthy bacteria in Probionic, and when it comes to, maybe you've heard this before, but when it comes to probiotic products on the market, it's all about shelf life. Shelf life is the key to the quality of products like probiotics. Shelf life means, if you put it on the shelf, how long actually are going to live bacteria be in that product? Because they're live, they're live cells. So they, if they leave them in a product on the shelf for a long time under bad conditions, they may die. And if you take that product when the bacteria have died, obviously they have no use to your health. So shelf life is a key issue. Now, there are basically 2 ways of looking at this, of taking your bacteria. One is, and you may know this, is a drink. I'm not going to say the brand name, but you all know these little bottles that you put in the fridge, and it's a drink. It's a milky type of drink that contains live bacteria. And, that's the way to do it, because you have to refrigerate it. It's a very short shelf life, but if you treat it like milk or yogurt, that can be a very good way of getting bacteria in your system. However, it's not very convenient. So Probionic is the other option, and the other option is pills. But we have a very unique proprietary technology to Probionic, and that technology is called LiveBac. A LiveBac is developed by specialists in this industry about a couple of years ago, and patented it and really perfected the system. And this is a unique technology that somehow encapsulates every individual particle in that pill, bacteria, so that and there's a little bit moisture and everything else, so they kept like a microenvironment inside that pill that keeps all the individual bacteria alive. And it has a huge, very stable shelf life. Of course, not forever. I mean, if you buy Probionic and you leave it on the shelf for 5 years, you will have some reduction in effectiveness. But 2 years, as is the shelf life of probiotics, is completely left stable. So after 2 years, you will find exactly the same amount of bacteria as put on the label inside the pill, because of that unique proprietary LiveBac technology. And we, of course, have tested this. I mean, we don't say something just like that without testing it. We have clear test reports showing that the product contains these bacteria even after a long period of 2 years. So you can safely take the pills, and you're absolutely sure you get the bacteria inside your system where you need them. It's much more convenient than drinks, I think. I mean, pop a pill. You don't need to worry about refrigeration. You can take it with you wherever you go. It's much more convenient, and still having the confidence of mind that the bacteria are actually alive inside. And it's an issue because, you may look up the papers or search the internet and find that, there are many products, low-quality products, actually, that are claiming to have bacteria, but they're actually not alive anymore. And, that's just a waste of money. Forget about those products. You need to have probiotics with the LiveBac technology, with proven results and proven amounts of live bacteria, even after a period of 2 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, Probionic, it's a great daily product for your health. It's, in fact, a very good product after you do a Paraway pack cycle. Paraway pack cycle, we've discussed this product before. You can actually clean out your gut, remove all parasites, scrub out the inside of your intestinal tract with fiber, and that is a great time to add Probionic at the end to repopulate your intestinal tract with those healthy bacteria. But that's not the only time. I mean, every time, it's really a daily health product. You take it every day. And, of course, you can mix it with things. I'd like to put the Probionic product in a bit of yogurt and eat it that way. You can do it that way. It doesn't really matter. You can take it any way you want. But it's a really daily health product. A good combination is to take it with BioSlife. Let me tell you why. Well, the BioSlife actually contains food for the healthy bacteria. It's also a prebiotic product. It provides fibers that those bacteria need to survive and to thrive inside your intestinal tract. So, and of course, everybody takes BioSlife. I know that. But probiotics, together with BioSlife, is an ideal combination to fill up your gut and to keep them happy afterwards by providing them the food that they need. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for calling in this week. And next time, we're going to have another exciting topic for the BioSlife franchise, product training call. Thank you, and bye-bye.